What's going on, guys? This is Eddie from ManMade Kennels, and we're starting a new series where we give dog information all of 2024. And today we're going to be talking about the 5 biggest mistakes that first-time dog breeders make when they're having their first litter of puppies. These biggest mistakes can cause many problems, but mainly it's going to cause a loss of life. And we'll get straight to it. We're not going to waste your time. The first problem that we see is misinterpreting a puppy that's in a sack or that comes out and it looks like it might be stillborn as a dead puppy. This is definitely a mistake that many breeders make because some puppies may come out, and when they come out, the mother turns around, starts to do her job, natural job, and the people that are first-time breeders, they see that the puppy's yelling and screaming or just running around wiggling. But there are some mothers, especially first-time mothers, that when they have their baby, they don't do too much. They don't make those moves that they're supposed to make and go back there and work on them and try to get them to wake up. And those puppies may come out and they may look like they're lifeless, but these puppies are actually alive. They just need you to give them a little bit of a motivation or a boost. And here's how we do it. The first thing we ask you to do is to use a warm towel, shake that puppy really, really good, and start to get all the amniotic fluid out of that puppy using a bulb syringe. And you can do this through the nose, through the mouth, if you're a more advanced person or if you've been practicing before those puppies come, which you can practice by using a piece of fruit like an eggplant and learn how to sling your puppy. Then you can sling the puppy, and this will help remove all the amniotic fluid. You don't have to be too gentle with these puppies. You can be pretty vigorous when you're shaking those puppies around, trying to wake them up. If you need any other advice, if you don't take my advice for it, go look at how they wake up a newborn puppy that may come out lifeless in the beginning. Or a newborn baby, sorry. They'll spank the baby really hard, rub really hard. They'll do everything they can to wake that baby up and to get some oxygen running through it. And that's the same thing that you're gonna need to do with some of those puppies when they come out. Another thing that you can do is if they come out warm and you know that they've just recently come out the sack, or you have to break open the sack, you can tell that there's a heartbeat by putting your finger on their neck. If you look real close, right around the neck area, you'll see a little beep. That's a good indication that that puppy is still alive. And if you want to, you can use your thumb and press in on the left side of the puppy. Just press, 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 press. I don't know if you can see this or not, but you're just pressing, and that's pumping oxygen, pumping blood through the brain and keeping that puppy alive while you start to work on that puppy to get them back to normal. You can do this for 5 to 10 minutes and you will save a couple of those puppies' lives. So it's a big misconception. The next thing we're going to talk about, it's a big mistake that people make, is the temperature in the whelping box. In your home, you may be comfortable with a 65 to 72 degree home, but in a whelping box, we need it to be much warmer. We're looking at 85 to 87 degrees in that whelping box to keep that puppy in a healthy environment and to make sure that they thrive those first couple of days, which is crucial for the life of that little puppy. Guys, I don't know how many people I've talked to when they tell me, oh, my puppies came out, they were doing good, but now they don't want to suckle. They just seem like they're not really interested in the nipple. A lot of times this is because the temperature of that puppy has dropped so low that they're unable to do anything. They're pretty much going through organ failure at that point. And so we need to keep them nice and warm. You can use warm water bottles wrapped in a towel and put them around that to get their temperature back to where it needs to be. I recommend using a heat lamp, hanging a heat lamp over your whelping area, putting a little thermometer down there where the puppies are, and that will keep your puppies nice and warm, and you can regulate the temperature by raising the heat lamp or lowering it to where you keep it at around 85 to 87 degrees. The next biggest thing that we see is dehydration. So like I was saying, sometimes those puppies may get a little cold, or at other times they may miss a feeding and get dehydrated. Now this isn't the easiest thing to take care of, especially if you're a first-time breeder. And I know a lot of breeders will say that maybe I'm making a mistake here, but I've been doing this for a long time, almost 20 years. And I would say that I've saved a lot of puppies' lives, not just my own, but other people that I've worked with, by hydrating those puppies. Now, we don't want to puncture a bunch of holes in a newborn puppy. But if it gets to the point where that puppy seems like it's just not going to make it and is dehydrated, you can lift the skin up on the back of their neck. And when you do that, make sure that you pull the skin away from the body. We do not want that needle to touch the body of the puppy. This is called subcutaneous fluids, and we're just going to put 1 or 2 cc's under the skin of that puppy just to get them hydrated. We do not want the water to be cold. We want to use distilled water, maybe a little bit lukewarm, but we do not want it to be cold water, and this will definitely help your puppy bounce back. A lot of people like to use Cairo syrup on the gums. You can do that too, just give them a little bit of sugar, but the hydration part is key. And then I would recommend that you start to document when your puppy is feeding, make sure that the teats that they're sucking on actually have milk. Sometimes those puppies will suck on a teat that has 0 milk, and they'll just be sucking and sucking and sucking, lose all their energy, get no nutrients to help them bounce back. And that next feeding, you'll see that they're not doing too well. So make sure that the mother's got milk flowing through her body. And that leads me to the next one, the nutrients that the mother is eating. So for the last 60 to 62 days that mother was pregnant, you've been feeding her food. And you read all these crazy things online that tell you that you should be giving them cottage cheese, goat's milk, probiotics, all these great things to help those puppies thrive. Do not listen to what they're telling you on the internet. Do not fall for it. Those puppies' digestive systems are set up for what the mother's been eating for the last 60 to 62 days. And then you go and you decide to give her something like some cottage cheese or goat's milk to help boost her milk production. Well, this also changes the milk in her that she's giving to those puppies, which their bodies is not used to, and can cause 2 things. 1, either dehydration from diarrhea, or 2, bloat, which is the most concerning part, is bloat. We do not want this to happen, so we do not want to give the mothers anything that they haven't been eating for the last 60 days. So if you plan on doing that, make sure early in her pregnancy, whatever foods, nutrients you plan on giving her when those puppies are born, you're giving her during her pregnancy. And lastly, guys, monitoring the mother's ability to be a mom. This is a first-time mom. Some moms are great, some moms not so much. If you're going through a C-section, you're probably going to have a really hard time. There is a thing called a love hormone. It is done, if you know what progesterone is, a lot of times vets will give progesterone shots to help bring in the milk, but that is also the love hormone that the mother needs, and they usually have when they go through natural labors. If you're having a C-section done, a lot of times the mother doesn't go through that natural labor, so she's not really a good mother for the first few days. I would recommend that if you're going to do a C-section, ask your vet to give them a shot of progesterone. Not progesterone, oxytocin. And I'm not going to stop this video and go redo it, but to give them a shot of oxytocin. I do a lot of progesterone tests here, sorry guys. But give them a shot of oxytocin, that is the love hormone, and that will help release the milk and also remind them that, hey, you're a mom now and you're gonna have to start acting like one. If they go through a natural labor, they usually do pretty well, but for dogs that have C-sections, this can be a big problem. And so we wanna make sure that we ask our vets, hey, can we get some oxytocin? And then by the way, can you send me home with a little bit of oxytocin just in case that milk doesn't come in? I also recommend doing a reverse progesterone test. If possible, ask your vet to do that before you send her in there. I know that a lot of times vets charge a lot of money for a late night C-section or a weekend C-section. Hopefully you have a great vet that will take good care of you. And if you have a good relationship, they usually don't do that. But some vets out there, especially the commercial ones, they have a hard time understanding that you're a breeder and that you're probably a respectable breeder. To them, it's all the same. And so they may charge you a little bit of extra. And so just be prepared for that. But with that new mom, guys, you cannot just leave those puppies in there with her. For the first few days, you have to rotate those puppies. Rotate them on the nipples, teach her, show her what it takes to be a great mother. Make sure that if she's aggressive for those first few days, that you don't let her get away with not feeding those puppies. You put a muzzle on her if you have to, you sit down, you hold her down there, but you make sure that those puppies get that colostrum that they need for those first few days, because that's the antibodies that are gonna keep that puppy alive and thriving later on down the road. All right, guys, so these are the big 5. There's a lot more that comes with it. And if you have any questions, you can call my cell phone. It is 302-272-3625. This is one of many videos to come. My son is going to be whelping his first litter this year. He's an amazing kid. He's grown a lot. We'd love for you guys to hit that subscribe button below. If not, we understand. We love you. We're always going to be here. We are ManMade Kennels. My wife is behind the camera. She can say hi.
Hi.
And we're here. On the count of 3, guys, you know how to do it at home. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Leave any questions that you have below. And 1, 2, 3, Peace.
Man-made
Man-made kennels.
kennels.
God bless, guys.